Hi friends and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm sharing a recipe that's an absolute classic, soft sweet Texas style steakhouse buns with homemade cinnamon honey butter. These are the kind of rolls that disappear the moment they hit the table. Fluffy, lightly golden and brushed with melted butter while they're still warm. And when you pair them with whipped cinnamon butter, game over. Okay, let's start with the dough. First, warm up 1 cup of milk. It should feel warm to the touch, but not too hot. Around 110 degrees Fahrenheit is perfect. To that, I'm adding 2¼ teaspoons of instant dry yeast and a quarter cup of granulated sugar. Give it a gentle stir so everything is mixed well. And set it aside for now so yeast can dissolve completely. Now take a large mixing bowl and once your yeast is fully dissolved, go ahead and pour the yeast mixture into the bowl. Next, add 3 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter and 1 large egg. Mix everything together until it's smooth. Then add 1 teaspoon of salt and mix again. Now we will start adding the flour. You will need about 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Add it gradually and start mixing. I like to begin with a Danish whisk and then switch to my hands. Knead the dough until it's very smooth and elastic. At first it might feel a little dry, but after a few minutes of kneading it becomes soft and smooth to the touch. If the dough feels really sticky, you can add a bit more flour, but go slow. It's better to keep the dough slightly soft than overdo it with flour, or the rolls can turn out dense. I finished kneading the dough on the counter, so my total kneading time was about 7 minutes. Once the dough feels smooth and soft, shape it into a ball. Take a large bowl and lightly grease it with oil. Place the dough inside and turn it around so the whole surface gets coated. Now cover the bowl with plastic wrap and a kitchen towel and let the dough rise in a warm place for about 1 hour or until it doubles in size. Once the dough has doubled in size, uncover it and gently punch it down to release the air. Transfer it to the work surface. You can lightly flour it if you want, but I didn't. The dough was soft and really easy to work with. Roll it out into a square about ½ inch thick. Don't worry if it's not perfectly even. The buns will turn out amazing. While I'm rolling, I like to use my palms to gently shape and square up the edges. Once you've got your dough shaped, cut it into squares for that classic steakhouse look. I usually divide it into 16 pieces, but you can make them larger or smaller depending on what you prefer. You can also use a round cutter or shape them into small balls by hand if you'd like. Now take a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and carefully transfer the shaped dough pieces onto the tray. Make sure to leave a little space between each one. They will puff up as they rise and again in the oven. But don't worry if a few of them touch, they will still bake beautifully and pull apart just fine. Once they are all arranged, cover the tray loosely with a clean kitchen towel and let the buns rest for about 30 minutes. And while they are resting, it's perfect time to make the cinnamon honey butter. To make the cinnamon honey butter, grab a small mixing bowl, add ½ a cup of very soft unsalted butter, that's about 113 grams. Then add a ¼ cup of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of honey. Mix everything together really well. I start with a spatula just to get everything combined. Then I switch to a hand mixer and beat it until it's light and fluffy. You will see the color lighten noticeably as it wipes up. Once it's ready, just leave it at room temperature until you're ready to serve. After the buns have rested for 30 minutes, they should look nice and puffy. Now go ahead and bake them in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 12 to 15 minutes or until the tops are lightly golden. When the buns are ready, take them out of the oven and brush them right away with melted salted butter. I use 2 tablespoons. This gives them that beautiful glossy top and helps keep them super soft. They smell absolutely amazing at this point, buttery, warm, and just slightly sweet. Transfer them to a wire rack and let them cool for a few minutes, and then they are ready to serve. And that's it. Grab your cinnamon butter, cut open a bun, and spread it on generously. It's so tasty. Thank you so much for watching my video recipe. If you give this a try, let me know how it turned out in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. And please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more homemade recipes. See you in the next video. Bye bye.